In this video, we continue to look at Science Paper 1, 2022. So we're going to start with A5. A5 reads, the following is a table containing information about particles in different states. Which of the following substances is a liquid? So, on your options, you have substance, you have the substance, you have the arrangement of the particles, the spacing of the particles, and the movement of the particles. And you're supposed to relate all these, the substance, the arrangement, the spacing, and the movement of the particles with how, with solids, with the properties of the solids. So, for substance, the solid substance can be L, M, N, and also don't take much thinking in thinking about the substance. But what is the arrangement of particles in solids? So the arrangement of particles in solids is such that in a solid object, you expect the arrangement of particles to be fixed. This will be the arrangement of particles in solids. You expect them to be fixed. So they're supposed to be fixed, so that means that A or C can be your answer. What about the spacing? The spacing of particles in solids is such that the particles are close together, they are closely packed together. So you've seen this arrangement from this illustration drawn here. They're closely put or closely packed together. So again, the choice of answer or answer of choice can be A or C. What about the movement of particles? Well, the movement of particles in solids is such that they do not move, they just vibrate because they are fixed, number one, and they are closely packed together, and therefore they can't move, they don't have space to move from point 1 to point B, so they just vibrate within the object that they are in. So this leaves you with C as your correct option. Our next question, A6, reads, if 1200 cubic centimeter of an ideal gas is heated at constant pressure from 27 degrees Celsius to 127 degrees Celsius, what will be its final volume? So when you're dealing with questions of pressure, temperature, and volume, what you should think about first, if you don't want to think too hard, is the combined gas law or combined ideal gas law. The combined ideal gas law is written as P1 V1 over T1 equal to P2 V2 over T2. Now, this formula can be manipulated into any question that you'd want to solve relating to pressure, temperature, and volume. Where, in a case where you have constant temperature, then that means that you just have to remove the temperature and remain with P1 V1 equal to P2 V2. What about in a case where you have constant pressure? In a case where you have constant pressure, you're going to remove the pressure part, and this will leave you with V1 over T1 V2 over T2 as your formula as the formula you're going to use in the question. What about in a case where you have constant volume? In a case where you have constant volume, you simply remove the volume part of the equation. So that is going to leave you with P1 over T1 equal to P2 over T2. And that's how you manipulate this combined ideal gas formula. So in this case, this question is telling us that we have constant pressure, and therefore the formula that we're going to use is going to be V2 over T1 equal to, not V2, but simply V1 over T1 equal to V2 over 152. This is the formula that we're going to use. So it says that if 12 cubic centimeter of an ideal gas is heated at a constant pressure from 27 degrees Celsius to 127 degrees Celsius, what will be its final volume? So we have the initial volume, we have the initial temperature as well as the final temperature. What we're looking for is the final volume. So we can substitute our values into the equation or the formula, and what we're going to have is V1, which is 1200 cubic centimeter, divided by our T1, which is 7 degrees Celsius, equals to V2 is what we're trying to look for as our final volume, divided by our final temperature, which is 127 degrees Celsius. We cross multiply to make V2 the subject of the formula, since we are finding for V2. So that's going to be 27 degrees Celsius V2. If you don't want to be confused, you can simply get the units. So just say 27 V2 is equals to 1200 times 127. Use your calculator. So that'll be 152 400. So divide that by 27, since we are finding for V2 again. So V2 will be equals to this, and this will cancel. 152 400 divided by 27 will be equals to 5644.44444. Yeah, that'll be a value. And then if you round this to the nearest desk, have V2 equals to 5644.4. If you compare this with the options that you've been given, you find that A is 900, B is 1600, C is 4600, and D is 5644, which is the answer that is close to the value that we find, because if you round off this answer that you have found, you will find out to say it will still remain as 5644.